Hey everyone, and welcome back to Podcast X. Today I'm joined by David, yet again. Stuck with him
Always.
all the time.
The best.
Today's topic we're going to talk about today is obviously the piece of shit that's obviously on his shirt. Newcastle United. So yeah.
I'm kidding. You can't say anything, mate.
Oh
You
no, I
can't.
can't.
You can't say anything.
I know.
Mate.
After the last video we just did.
Worst title defense in history.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Right,
I'm not sorry.
Yeah, let's get into this anyway. Now,
Please do.
First thing I want to obviously talk about is Newcastle's form. Now, last few weeks, obviously speaking to you, just adjusting your headset there.
That's why I get sorted. Oh, I look like Clark Kent. Hello.
Last few weeks, obviously, as things have gone on with Newcastle, results have been, some, as you'd look back and probably say, oh, positive point. Or
There's not been.
Yeah, well, I was going to get to that, but obviously from speaking to yourself, Newcastle have not been, they've been crap really, haven't they? Now,
Yeah.
where do you obviously, what do you believe is going to happen with Newcastle this season?
Ooh, truthfully, what do I think?
Yeah.
If we continue playing the games for how we are playing them, we're going to get relegated. Straight up, I've accepted it now. I'll be completely honest with you. The way we played against West Brom just proves to me that we don't want to stay up in this league. The way we played against Wolves in the second half, and even in the first half, they always say that our second was better than our first. I disagree because we conceded our equaliser in the second half. I think I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
It's all a pleasant memory of a nightmare. To be quite honest, we'll go down if we continue playing the same way. We're not good enough to be in this league because we're playing completely different to how the rest of the league is playing. Brucey's got us playing this really negative 5 at the back or 4 at the back formation, but we seem to keep pumping the ball up to nobody.
Yeah.
If you watched any of that 12 o'clock kickoff yesterday on the West Brom Newcastle game, we pumped the ball up to Joe Linton, who can't control a moving car. He can't control. There's a reason why he's probably flop of the century, to be quite honest. That's how I feel, because he's just been absolutely awful. The only saving grace, there's only been 2 saving graces in our team this year, maybe even 3. And that's Caldalo, and then he got dropped for Dubravka, something that shouldn't have happened. Why would you drop the goalkeeper who's kept you in all these games? You know what I mean? Yes, Dubravka was our number 1 choice last season, and this is probably the only decision that Bruce did right and then did wrong. Like, he completely changed his whole outlook on the goalkeeping position. He said he will give time to the goalkeeper who has been putting time and effort between the sticks, and because Caldalo makes maybe 3 or 4 mistakes, that's enough to justify him losing his place. And now Darlow's going to think, I know I'm good enough to play in this league. Why can't I try my chance anywhere else? And it was the same for Emiliano Martinez for Arsenal. Why he left to go to Villa? And look how well he's doing.
Yeah, look how well Aston Villa are doing because of that signing as well.
Exactly. So, swings and roundabouts, really. But also, Miggy Almiron has been a revelation. He has since he's come, really. He's just... He for me is what an ideal football player should be. People say that he runs around like a headless chicken, or they compare him to someone who just does a lot without doing anything. But personally, he for me is the ideal appeal of how a player should be in a club that is struggling. Someone who makes something out of nothing, who makes those runs, who has the pace. And then there's Saint Maximin, who is, and I'm being biased, if you can agree with me or not, he's the most unpredictable player in this league. By far. He himself, he doesn't even know what he's going to do. and then he does it. That's why he's so hard to defend against. He's got one of the, I think he's got one of the most. I think Adama Traore's the top dribbler this season. He's had the most completed dribbles.
But Adam Traore's also had a really bad season.
Exactly. Yeah. But Saint Maximin, he's got so much flair, and those three players, they're gonna go. They will go if we get relegated, and so will our other goalkeeper Dubravka, because those are the sort of players that will go, because they know they're better than the Championship. The likes of Shelby, the likes of Fraser, Wilson even will go, because why else would Wilson and Fraser not play for Bournemouth in the Championship? Because they want Premier League football. So if we end up going down, then they'll do the same thing. It happened with Townsend. Townsend a few seasons ago. He joined us for 6 months, Pewey. And when we went down, he went to Palace.
Yeah.
Same with Wijnaldum. We went down, he went to you.
Yeah, and that's one of the best signings we've probably done.
Exactly. Same with Musa Sissoko. There's another name. And two players from Liverpool and Tottenham respectively, a few years later after leaving Newcastle, were both in the Champions League final.
So, yeah, well...
We're basically just the Premier League's version of Borussia Dortmund, mate. Yeah. Or Liverpool love signing our players as well. That's just it.
So, coming on to the next thing quickly, because I know you can go on all day about that.
Oh, yeah.
What I want to get to is something, obviously... Well, I want to come to two players who come to mind when I think of Newcastle at the moment. Callum Wilson is one of them.
Yep. My boy.
The other person I want to come to is Andy Carroll. Now,
oh my God.
I've got to admit, I was a bit sceptical of Andy Carroll coming back to Newcastle. Only because I thought, what is Steve Bruce doing? Bringing him back. I'm not knocking Andy Carroll, because when on his day, he can be a really good footballer.
Yeah, that's true.
Aerial, like getting up for aerial duels, he wins a lot of headers. Anything else, though, he's shit.
Yeah, he is.
And that's why I want to get your thoughts for me to first one on Andy Carroll, as that's basically what I want to ask.
He's a meme signing, mate. He's a meme, because it's Andy Carroll. He started his career in the Northeast with Newcastle. He made a good career out of what he did, and then he got bought for a lot of money that he wasn't worth by yours truly.
Oh no, yeah. I get that.
So, and that sort of price can really influence a player's sort of attitude, really, and it makes them feel as if they're better than what they are. And it's happened with Joe Linton as well. There's only £5 million separating Andy Carroll's price and Joe Linton's price. So we basically paid for the sale of Andy Carroll leaving, by getting a £40 million man. But I think, you see, when I watch him play, he does try his hardest. He does run about a lot, but like I say, he runs around without doing anything. He wins a lot of the long balls and the headers. But when you've got no one running in behind for him, it's pointless. No he might as well not be there. He might as well be a libero, centre back playing striker or something. You know what I mean? He might as well not be there.
I think myself, I've got to admit, I used to like watching Andy Carroll when he was actually at us, when he was fit. I think he, in the air, he was really class in the air. I think what annoys me with Andy Carroll is he has such a good potential to be something more than, something more. He could have made, for me, if he wanted to, if his attitude was a lot better, he could have been a really, really good player. I understand when, Brendan Rodgers come in, I think it was, he got rid of Andy Carroll pretty much straight away because he wasn't his type of player. But for me, he should have fought for his place and probably, tried to establish himself. But he's never, any club he's went to, from West Ham to anywhere, he's never established himself anywhere.
Well, he's had quite a few injuries.
Yeah, I get that. But even when he comes back,
playing.
even when the lad comes back, he still doesn't. he still doesn't for me. He still doesn't do it enough.
Well, you know in yourself, when a player has a bad injury or any injury,
oh yeah, it's always hard to come back.
It's difficult to come back playing the same way again. I'll pick a prime example. I think was it Fernando Torres? No, it wasn't Fernando Torres.
Yeah, it would have been Fernando Torres.
I think it was when he had his knee injury.
Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah.
And he came back, and he wasn't the same, and that's when he sold him to Chelsea for 50 million.
Yeah.
There's a few players that have been like that. When players have big injuries, it really affects them. I'm not saying that he didn't have the time to recuperate. He did, because you look at players like Oxlade-Chamberlain. We had that really nasty knee injury last season, and he came back, but I've not really seen him other than then since his return. I don't even know if he's fit. I don't even know if he's not injured still.
Okay, moving on quickly. Now, obviously we've only got a few minutes left on here. I want to get back to. I'm gonna skip the Callum Wilson because I think you did touch upon that in other aspect.
I just want to say he's a revelation. Really, he's done well. That's all I'm gonna say. He's out of his depth.
What do you want to see? Yeah, right. Last question. What do you want to see from Newcastle if they do stay up? Obviously, I understand there's a few months ago. He's meant to have new owners, which even as a Liverpool fan myself, wanted Newcastle to get new owners because Mike Ashley is a leech, and that's coming from someone who knows, who knows well, basically I just know Mike Ashley because I've talked to people in, Sports Direct, and anyone who's, I've got friends who work in sports, so anyone who's come across him can't stand him. So, yeah, basically I want to know. Will you probably get new owners? That's the, because I think the Rafa Benitez one for me was the one that, he left because of Mike Ashley. In other words, that's what my views of it, because he wasn't going to back him. He knew he probably wasn't going to struggle with his team, and as you very well know, Steve Bruce is a yes man.
Oh, don't I know it?
Yeah,
don't I know it, mate?
And he will obviously take a team on just for for me. He's not a bad manager, but he's still a yes man. He'll take any job as long as he gets a bit of money in his back pocket. And I think that's where Newcastle at the moment are going wrong. I think the best hope for you would have been keeping all the Rafa Benitez, but
the only way Rafa Benitez said he would stay is if. See, people think that Rafa left because of the takeover. He left because Mike Ashley wasn't interested in boosting our youth academy and focusing a lot of our money on the youth academy. And because Rafa Benitez has been known to bring a lot of players up from youth and train them up and have them playing his way, that didn't happen. And because he didn't get the backing from the owner, he left. Obviously, if we would have had that takeover by the Saudi regime, he would have stayed, and we wouldn't be in the same position we would be in now. Because we would be bringing in players, even if the players we were rumoured with, we were linked with fucking Koulibaly, we even linked with Mbappe, mate. We weren't going to ever sign them, even with a takeover. But
the one that got away from you was probably Mario, Pochettino, as a manager. I think if the owners had come in, maybe that's when you should have seen a difference in the team, in my opinion. But
I would have liked the Pochettino, but if I was Pochettino, I would know what's in store for me, and I would know that I would want trophies. Hence why I would go to PSG instead. Easy trophies there for French cups.
But so. I think though, with the owners not coming in and stuff, I think that's probably what's put Pochettino off that project.
Yeah.
But hopefully, in the next few years, we might see a different owner. I'm open for it, so anyway.
Oh, same here, mate.
For your sake as well.
Absolutely, we need a new owner.
But
I think it would definitely help us if we did. So, that's all I've got to say, really.
All right. Now, obviously, at the end of the podcast, so if you obviously like that podcast, please leave a like and a subscribe to the channel. And obviously, if you want to obviously get involved with the channel, please get in touch with us, both me and Dave, and we'll sort something out with you. Next few weeks, obviously, we're going to be doing what we said we were going to do, kind of getting some music talent on the channel. So please be aware that's going to be happening towards the end of most of our podcasts. All right, it's only these first 2 episodes. We're going to just keep a routine of talking.
That's it. So just stay tuned to the end of each pod, and there might be a little something extra in there for you guys to enjoy.
Yeah. So, without, see you soon.
See you soon,
Hopefully,
guys.
the next video will be soon.
I hope.
Bye
See
now.
you later, guys. Take care.